What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode 4 on the Road to Super series. Now last episode you would have seen us paint the back of the Mini and then the inside of the driver's side door. So in today's video we're going to do the other side of the door and then we're going to repair the lacquer peel on the front bumper. Roll the intro. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is take off the bonnet so we can get it on the stand, all sanded down and ready for paint.
We've got the red door on. This of course, much the same process as the last time. This needs to be cleaned up, all the surface needs to be keyed up, ready for paint. There's a couple of wee bits that we just want to maybe do little repairs on. But other than that it's pretty good, so key up and paint. Onto the bonnet. We're going to deal with this, we'll probably use a bit of compressed air, blow off any more loose lacquer, rub it back, and then we'll get this whole thing keyed up and ready for paint. We did think about only doing this side of it, but looking at the bonnet, the rest of it is pretty flat as well, and there's a little couple of stone chips over that side, so I think what we'll do is we've got it off, it's here, we've got enough paint, may as well do the whole thing. One thing we are struggling with though, is finding one of these park lane decals. So it looks like this has been painted before and somebody's masked it off. So I think this is just going to be a little cheap car, a little cheap runabout for somebody, maybe a first car or something like that. So what I think we'll do is we'll do the same thing, we'll just mask it off, paint both sides in the centre, the grey, and then give it a polish up and that'll do it.
and the door all sanded down and smooth, the next thing we're going to do is go over all the bare metal with some etched primer, and then once that's dry, we'll go over with some normal primer so that it's easier for the paint to cover the red. So that's the door primered. While that's drying, we're going to mask up the bonnet and then we'll mix up some paint.
So if you guys are thinking about having a go at doing this at home, it's easily doable at home. You can pick yourself up a cheap spray gun for Machine Mart, eBay, anything like that. If you're working on an old car, you don't need a mega professional finish, but any spray gun will do the job really. And if it's not perfect, you can always flatten and polish after it. But when you're mixing your paint, I've always done it as a 1-to-1 ratio for the base coat. So your canny base coat and then a standard universal thinners. I've never put an activator in the paint. I put an activator in the lacquer. When I'm doing the lacquer, I do the lacquer at a 2-to-1. I don't know if any of this is right, I'm not a professional painter, but it's always worked for all the jobs I've done. I've painted quite a lot and I've never had any issues with it, so yeah. 1-to-1 ratio for your paint, for your base coat, and then a 2-to-1 ratio for your lacquer. And if you're only doing wee bits and bobs at home, bumper scuffs, things like that, you'll be absolutely fine.
Alright, so I'm going to lay down the first layer of base coat. This is just a light misting so that when it goes tacky it leaves a nice surface for your wet coats to stick to. So let's get the gun plugged in and we'll get started.
So guys, it's been a couple of days since we've had a look at the bonnet and the door on the Mini. If you've seen our midweek update, the channel update, you'll have seen that we've had a bit of a problem with a previous repair coming back through. So while Charlie's at school, we've got to take a wee look at it and see if we can get it done and painted before he comes back. So this is the previous repair I'm talking about. It was obviously done at a body shop before, and whatever's on it immediately started reacting as soon as I started putting paint on it. But you can still see the outline of where the repair is. So I'm going to take all this back, we'll put some new filler primer on it, get it right back in, sort the repair out, new filler primer, flatten that back, and then we'll have another go at getting this painted in so we can get this bonnet back on the car. Guys, I rubbed it back and I've threw a lot of build primer on. So what I'm going to do now is we'll put down a little black guide coat, and then we're going to let this harden up for a good hour or so before I come back, and we'll do some wet sanding and we'll see how it looks. Let's see if we can get this. There we go. We'll leave it at that for now and come back and wet sand it. This has had plenty of time to dry up now. I've got some 600 grit sandpaper in the bucket. Just going to give it a wet sand now, make sure it's nice and flat before we start the base coat again. Hopefully this time it works okay. Right, that's everything all wet sanded. It's looking much better now. I've spread the repair further up. I'm not getting any reactions in the primer. It's all wet sanded and it's looking much better, so hopefully, fingers crossed, when we put the base coat on it this time, it's all going to come out okay. I've also just gave the door another wee scotch, just to get a bit of a key because it's been lying so long. So let's get some base coat mixed up, we'll start laying it down and see how it comes out. So guys, that's it, the base coat's on. We've shot a tack coat of lacquer, then I've done a good couple of heavy coats of lacquer, nice wet coats. As we expected, there is a little bit of crap in it because we're doing it in the garage, but because I've laid down some thick clear coat, we'll be able to polish that out, we'll be able to flatten it back, polish it out, and it won't be a problem. But yeah, it's obviously going to need time to cure, time to dry before we can do that. So that's it for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button because you could be in with a chance of winning one of our home built dual action polishers. So yeah, hit the subscribe button. We're not sure what we're doing next week, but there'll be something car related. So join us in the next one. See you later.